Hello everyone. Today you will learn a lot of interesting things from the history of psychologists. Enjoy watching as usual. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and click on the bell. We have videos coming out twice a day without a break. Enjoy watching. Story 1 from user Groan of Tedium. Tech here, so bottom of the totem pole. But I'll offer my opinion. Normal is not the right qualifier in my opinion. Psychology isn't like physiology, where you can go in and they can run exploratory tests on you to find out you are sick in a way that hasn't manifest symptoms yet. That's why your doctor will screen you for certain common or devastating disorders. The way I learned about mental illness was the 4 Ds: dysfunction, deviation, distress, and danger. Dysfunction means it gets in the way of you doing your job, school, or whatever. Deviation means it's not something everyone is going through. Distress means you're not okay with it. Danger is self-explanatory. You come in with some or all of the 4 Ds, and we form a treatment based on a set of symptoms that you most closely match. Then, we treat the symptoms. The point of all of this is to say, mental illness exists on a spectrum where one end may be so subtle that it only informs a person's personality, whereas the other end is completely debilitating and can get a person killed. You may know someone with features of an illness. In fact, I'd be surprised if you didn't. But if they don't want or need treatment, then they shouldn't be diagnosed. The best example is autism. Someone high on the functionality side of autism will do quite well in life. In fact, it is actually quite fair to discuss if autistic people live better lives than their counterparts. The answer would be entirely based on what you value in a good life. The next group of people are objectively suffering from their condition. They may have a chemical imbalance in their brain that causes them to be more anxious or sad than their counterparts. However, if it doesn't have enough impact on that individual, then they may go their entire lives without really needing to be checked out. To answer your question, if someone feels like their life would benefit from the field of psychology, then they need to get checked out. The hurdle that professionals face is educating people on what kinds of things psychology can help with. But for fun, let's look at some qualities you can have that are too extreme and what diagnosis that may relate to. Energy, too much. Mania, too little. Depression, trust, too much. Borderline personality disorder, BPD, too little. Paranoia, also BPD, self-esteem, too much. Narcissistic personality disorder, too little. Depression, fear, too much. Anxiety, too little. Mania, activities of daily living, too much. OCD, too little. Anhedonia, psychosis, sex, too much. BPD, too little. Anhedonia, memory, too much. Trauma, too little. Dementia, Alzheimer's, psychosis, interaction, too much. Hyperverbal, too little. Isolation, catatonia. That is just to say that many different extremes of certain traits can be a symptom. However, you do have to make sure it is abnormal for that person. Not everyone who doesn't like people is clinically isolative. Not everyone who has lots of sex with multiple partners is hypersexual. And not everyone who doesn't brush their teeth is depressed. It takes no time at all to learn the symptoms of different disorders. The rest of the time at school will be spent finding out how to tell if those traits are a symptom or just who that person is, and of course, what to do about it. Often the question of why is important in mental illness. Not participating in something you used to love may be anhedonia, or you may just have lost interest. Your medical doctor should never have to ask you why you have swollen lymph nodes. Your therapist should absolutely ask why you want to get a divorce. He cheated on me is not a symptom, but he's not my husband anymore. He is an imposter that looks like my husband. But he is an Al-Qaeda spy sent to kill me, is most likely. Story 2 from user Don't Ban the Peen. I'll turn this on a specific path. I'm a school psychologist. When your child is in school and having difficulty with learning, remembering, and applying the information consistently, everyone is expected to have challenging classes or subjects, but failing repeatedly, despite significant efforts, might need different supports. Special education teachers can make magic happen. When your child's behavior requires constant monitoring, extensive reinforcement, is dangerous or difficult to predict, harmful to others, explosive, or highly disruptive on a frequent basis, the school will likely be contacting you, and you need to work with them for the best interest of your child. We have behavior analysts. When your child does not seem to hear you when you call their name, I mean not ignoring, or react to loud noises, get their hearing checked. Same thing for vision. Make sure you get it checked regularly. Glasses go to school. Hearing aids go to school. We have hearing and vision specialists that come into school. When your child has a hard time understanding you, following directions, responding with logical and connected thoughts, skipping key words. Speech and language therapists do great things. We even use iPads and pictures to communicate with kids who need them. Dressing themselves, handwriting, using scissors, sensory sensitivity, etc. That's what occupational therapy is for. Walking, climbing stairs, supporting their bodies in a chair, jumping, running, and any movement. That's when we call in the physical therapist. Begging, dragging, pulling, and fighting your child to go to school every day is not normal. It could be that it's too difficult, socially challenging, high levels of anxiety or depression, and a plethora of other factors. Most importantly, all mental health issues are able to be helped in the school. We have social workers, mental health counselors, psychologists, behavioral health workers, school and guidance counselors, social skills teachers, and more. We run groups, work on school avoidance, help build friendships, teach coping strategies, and calm kids down when they need it. Remember, the longer a kid avoids school, the harder it will be to get them back in. Don't give in, but get them in and plan with the school. Get outside help if the task is too great. Bullying is dangerous. Physical fighting is dangerous. Self-harm is dangerous. Suicidal ideation and drug use is dangerous. The school needs to know in order to protect your child and family. We care and can help. Hiding or avoiding never helps. We have student assistance programs, outside resources, mobile crisis units, and an endless list of ways to support. Never, ever, ever leave a child with suicidal thoughts or intentions alone. When they say, go directly to the hospital, go directly to the hospital, no matter what you think. People often look and act better right before they attempt because they feel relief that they are going to go through with it. I'm sure I'm missing things, but you get the gist. Not every school is amazing, but most have ways of helping that parents don't know about. Labels have good parts and bad parts, but we use them to identify, communicate, tailor interventions, and properly treat. Schools are not just for reading, writing, and math. They are community centers for all aspects of your life. You are your child's first teacher, and they're one for life. Story 3 from user Blythe. Lack of regulation is something that crops up everywhere. Normal, or rather healthy, ideal, would be having a balance rather than extremes in your thoughts and behaviors. Taking something that others have mentioned here, for example. Can you regulate your emotions? Generally, people will think of the obvious mental health implications if you manage with behaviors such as self-harm, alcoholism, drug use. But we also need to consider the normalized, but still unhealthy behaviors such as work, sex, food, exercise, perfection. If it causes you to feel unhinged or out of control without it being a big focus in your life, then that might not be healthy. People often replace their problem behaviors and reassure themselves that it is all right because it isn't bad. Usually the behavior itself is not bad. It is what you are getting from it at the expense of anything else that is bad. And yet we focus on the meaning we give the behavior. Interesting. Also, generally people think this means, can you manage a disagreement without shouting, throwing something, swearing, making frustrated vocalizations, storming off, etc. But it also means, without submitting to whatever the other person is saying, even though you disagree, being unable to talk, being unable to move away, holding back from sharing your thoughts, etc. As a psychologist, we would also think about those core beliefs and rules for life that come to you in your moments of difficulty. Do you say, I can handle this? Next time I will? Or do you say, I am an idiot. It was always going to go wrong. I knew this would happen because this is what always happens to me. I deserve this. I am unworthy, unlovable. This is so normalized but is not ideal, healthy, and will leak out. And it doesn't have to. I suppose this isn't so much a real problem, but definitely seen a normal, and is an extremely common barrier to what would actually be healthy. As a psychologist, we are trained to identify the function and basic needs of behaviors in others and ourselves. I don't do or feel or think anything without knowing why before acting. If I think, feel, want to do something, and I'm not sure what the meaning behind that is, I will think about it first, identify what my function need is, and then figure out if that is the best way to go about it, or if there is a better way. So many people are just feeling and doing without ever realizing what is going on underneath, and without ever realizing that their instinctual behavior is not making them any better. Again, this often shows up when you behave in extremes rather than being regulated, balanced. Story 4 from user Derek Hordle MFT. I know this will get buried, and if it even helps just one person, I will be happy. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I also have a license as an individual counselor as well. That isn't what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is the concept of normality. The #1 mental health crisis in America is that people are accepting other people's definitions of their problems and applying solutions to non-existent problems. There is no such thing as normal. This question should really be psychologists, therapists, and counselors. How do you tell when something has become a problem for you? Some people do just fine on 6 hours of sleep. Some people wouldn't be able to function. If that person is doing just fine on 6 hours, and then some Instagram famous psychologist says, "Oh no, 8 hours is best." Now all of a sudden, this person is trying to solve a problem that didn't exist until they were influenced by someone with a license. This is why therapy is broken. My colleagues spend so much time trying to solve problems that only exist because in their profession, bias, they are problems. If it isn't a problem for you, it isn't a problem for me. All of my clients all want to know if they are normal. Am I crazy? What's wrong with me? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. We are on a rock, floating through space, at 55,000 miles an hour, and either there is a God or there isn't, and both options are equally terrifying. It is okay that you get anxious and have weird thoughts sometimes. We don't have to call it a disease. We don't have to put you in a category of being abnormal and then tell you that you have to cope with it for the rest of your life. Yes, things are on a spectrum. For example, if it helps you to call your tendency to think that other people are thinking of you more than they are social anxiety, then I am okay. I understand that all you are trying to do is get me to see the severity of it. I know because I experience it too. I'll never understand it the way you do, and I'll never feel it as strongly as you do, and the medicine is still the same. You have to continue to subject yourself to the anxiety and desensitize yourself to it. This is where the split happens. I think that I need to gain your trust and prescribe an experience for you that shows you that your beliefs about the situation are limiting, i.e., walk around in public with 2 different types of shoes on. Just tell people you are socially anxious. If you weren't socially anxious, how would you deal with all the friends you'd make? Other therapists think you need worksheets, gratitude journals, and to go into the past. Let's see what your childhood was like. If I walked upon 2 people playing chess, I don't need to know who made what moves to tell who is winning. Sure, it can provide information, and the most important thing is what is going on in the present. In any event, the chances of anyone reading this are very slim, as I missed out on it when it first started. If anyone reads this and has some questions, shoot me a PM. We have to change the way we think about mental health. We are stuck in a vicious cycle of medicalizing morality and normality. Story 5 from user Tigerbend. What I don't like about posts like this is how all it does is showing a problem. 'Cause all it will do for you is make you think, oh, I have some serious problems, I'm not normal. And then therapy and stuff comes along, and you start believing yourself to be mentally ill, meaning you can't do certain stuff mentally, healthy people can, and so on and so on. I quit the whole therapy, psychiatry, medication-taking roller coaster, 'cause it only made me worse. All it does is make the problem look huge, and the solution so hard and far away, it demotivates people. The only reason I would go back into therapy is if they did everything quicker, cut to the chase better, not go into detail on every issue, and asking how they feel about it and this and that. Be more solution than problem-focused. You are depressed? Let's write down what you want in life. What did you used to want? What makes you happy? What used to make you happy, etc. Bring back a routine in life, hygiene, hobbies, school or work, coping mechanisms that you have planned to do throughout the week. Set a list of small goals, stuff that you can easily do, but that get you in the goal-hitting mindset, setting rewards when you do. Anxiety, healthy diet and exercise, planned stress management moments, setting big goals that are more important to you than the anxiety that you have. doing things that make you step out of your comfort zone, etc. So much of the issues people have is from having a wrong mindset, and saying they have mental problems and are mentally ill won't help with that mindset. How many people don't struggle from parents or bullies or whatever that made them believe they are not capable, are not good people, are not valuable, resulting in anxiety and depression? The last thing you should do is tell them they are incapable again and that there is something mentally wrong with them. Giving those people a strong daily routine, goals they want to work towards, personal, professional, financial, something beyond them that will carry them through those struggles, self-sufficiency, by giving them something else to focus on instead of their own issues. That's what people need. Giving a depressed person the goal to make the bed every day, go to the store for food every Tuesday, etc., just to live like others again won't motivate them, because others don't need a list for that, and it's not very rewarding. However, giving them a to-do list about their hobby is way better and more motivating. You like to write? Write 10 pages every day? Do something once every week that will help with the writing, seminars, hobbies the main character likes, etc. You will start getting food and doing your hygienes because you go out and all that for your hobby and want to enjoy it. Anxiety? Instead of just giving coping mechanism after coping mechanism and telling them to slow down, give them stuff to do to get their mind off of it. Set plans where on that day between 2-4 p.m. you will focus on that anxiety thing, and the rest is planned with unrelated stuff that won't give them any or the same kind of anxiety. Build a solution mindset with the people, not a problem mindset. Teach them how to function like a successful person. Many people have issues because they never saw how you are supposed to function. Help them build a healthy group of friends and lifestyle. Help them get a growth mindset, not a fixed mindset. You aren't dumb or smart, organized or unorganized, successful or lazy, weak or strong. You will become way better at anything you work hard at to get it. Teach them to take action, not hold themselves back. Thanks for watching. Do not forget to write comments, subscribe, and like until soon.